Okay there, hello everybody. Today we're back with more Chrono Trigger builds in our IPFrame series. Today we're doing Lucca, as you can see up here and by the title. Our favorite... Oh, sorry, I just got done finishing the Homer one, and so the wing things are still there. Anyway, our favorite Bulma beta design. We can see here, I'm going to go ahead and switch you over to... So you can see here we have our picture of Lucca. Our Felarx is kind of intended to look like the Wonder Shot a little. And then I'm going to be showing off two different sort of two different sort of fashion frames for the Lex Prime. Um, One that looks a bit more like the Mega Blaster, and another that looks a bit more like the Pocket Blaster. So you can kind of pick and choose that how you like it. For now, though, I will take you all off of the Chrome view, and we can go into talking about the actual build and the fashion frames and such. So, first, let's cover the Wonder Shot, or the Felarx. We have this nice brown here from Fire as our primary. We're also using Fire for our secondary to get that golden color. Going into Classic Saturated for this gray. And then sticking with Classic Saturated for this other brown. Then we're going into this red. Then we're taking this orange, also from Classic Saturated. I like to call the Ballistics orange. Not using any skins because I feel like the default one, like, this isn't quite the same like look of material, but it's kind of close, and it kind of looks closer to the Wonder Shot than the other skins do, if you ask me. So, the Lex Prime. Pocket Blaster? Sorta, kinda? Anyway, so we're going with Gamma for this kind of desaturated red, going with Gamma again for this desaturated brown, going back to that same red here, and then using this kind of silvery color to get these accents like this. And then, Mega Blaster? Yeah, kinda, sorta. Um, Going in Classic Saturated for that gray color, sticking with it for this other gray, getting this red also from Classic Saturated, and then finally grabbing this brown right here, Classic Saturated. You probably could play around more with skins on this if you have any of the exclusive Lex skins. Like the Elixis really doesn't fit that well, but like if you have the Conclave one, that one might work. If you're using just the normal Lex instead of the Lex Prime, for whatever reason in particular, that might also look interesting. Anyway, the Fragor. If you noticed in Lucca's picture earlier, in basically all of her drawn pictures, she has a hammer. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. We're grabbing this brown, same brown we've been using. Grabbing this orange from Hallows Eve, actually. Grabbing this yellow from Halloween, or kind of orange, I guess I should say. And then lastly, grabbing Ballistics Orange again from Classic Saturated. The reason it's so different here is just to add a little bit of color depth, so it isn't just one block, right? And then these are going to be the same colors as last time, that red and that Ballistics Orange, and then just mixed here. No real reason in particular. And so I'm going to be rocking the Pocket Blaster, because I actually like that one a bit better. We're using Worm Prime. The Worm Prime isn't a particular reference to anything. I could have sworn in the game that at some point she uses like Lucca will summon a drone. I might be crazy, but I could have sworn that at some point she gets like an upgrade or something where she summons a drone whenever you start fighting, and the drone doesn't like actually do anything, it's just there. Anyway, I couldn't actually find anything on that because this game is like, unless I want to actually go look at videos, which I didn't particularly do. I was kind of trying to get this build out a little bit quicker because I already kind of had a vision for everything. Um, but without actually going and looking at like gameplay footage and like scouring gameplay footage for whatever I was thinking of, I couldn't come up with any actual evidence of it existing. And so we're just using Faithful Old Worm Prime. We're using the build TM with Vacuum, Tenacious Bond, because we're Prime Laser Rifle, and so we can get the boost out of that. We're running Medi-Ray, Guardian, Shield Charger, all just to give us a nice bumper on our health. Calculated Redirection combines with Reinforced Bond for 60% fire rate. We also have Warrior here so that we're attacking things. Mystic Bond for a bit of energy economy. The reason we care about attacking things is because we're running cold on this, and so like 1 in every 3 hits is going to apply a cold proc. It's just kind of... So back to actual Lucca. When we go into our upgrades, you can see here we're running Brief Respite. So, okay, here's the thing. This is stupid. I know it is. So, there's going to be 2 different builds here. If you are playing the kind of intended way to play this, which is you have Chrono Excalibur, Lucca Ember, and then Marley is going to be Trinity. I'll show that off next time. Then you want to run this build. Why? Well, we have Immolated Radiance. That gives all allies that are near us 50% DR. Well, 50% of immolation, but immolation is usually going to be pretty high capped, so 45, I guess, technically DR. That's not a lot. But it's something. It's something. And Brief Respite means that if your Trinity, God forbid, goes down, then you actually still have a chance at living without her being around. And Fireball Frenzy is, of course, here to buff up your allies, give them 100% heat damage. I checked. This doesn't combine elements. So, like, for instance, the big scare, right, is you hit Fireball Frenzy, your Excalibur, who was using influence to nuke rooms, is now stuck using radiation procs for as long as Fireball Frenzy lasts, which is 64 seconds, right? Effectively killing your Excalibur's ability to do anything. Doesn't work like that. It just adds heat onto it. So you don't need to worry about that. So, you might be asking, what about if you don't have Trinity with you? And if you don't have Trinity with you, then lucky for you, you're running a much more typical Ember setup. We're going to be, in that case, running something akin to, I'm trying to find it, Growing Power. You want to run Growing Power as your aura. And then, of course, in your augments, you're going to be running Healing Flame to give yourself Overguard. Otherwise, the rest of our build, you really want a big energy max with Ember. That's why Prime Flow is here. Archon Vitality is here, because you really want that if you get it. Umbral Intensify. In this case, listen, I had triple Umbral Forma on this Ember at one point in time. You'll notice one of those is gone, because Archon Vitality is just better. Because it's effectively double the damage from our heat procs, and heat procs are everything we do, right? So, let's discuss this. You don't need to do this anymore. Especially if you're running Healing Flame. You can run Archon Intensify, and you get 60% ability strength, which is better than Umbral Intensify with 2 Umbrals. Umbral Fiber is just here to boost up Umbral Intensify and give us a marginal boost in armor. It's really not a lot of armor. It's not great. It's just not great. Instead, what you can do is you can, instead of doing this, you can run Archon Intensify, like I said, and then if you want more strength, you just run Augur Secrets. And Augur Secrets also helps you shield gate if you're running the shield gating build. Granted, if you're running the shield gating build instead of the if you're running the shield gating build instead of the healing build, you're probably going to be running Umbral Intensify anyway, or like not Blind Rage. Don't run Blind Rage. I almost said Blind Rage, but you don't want to do that. But you would be running probably still Archon Intensify, because that's kind of the best strength mod that we have otherwise, but you see my point. For today's showcase, I will be running the healing build. Why will I be running the healing build? Because I'm going to be playing solo. And if you're going to be playing solo, you need to run the healing build, otherwise you will die. The shield build operates on the premise that you have a trinity with you. I want to be very clear about that so that people don't come at me saying that the build doesn't work and they're playing solo or they're playing in a random squad. Anyway, aside from that, you have adaptation for more damage resistance because you kind of need it as Ember, especially in this situation using Umbral Fiber. I would recommend keeping this even if you don't have Umbral Fiber because adaptation is just nice, and with Healing Flame, you're going to have Overguard, and adaptation, I believe, helps your Overguard. So, Power Drift. Power Drift is just here because we like the ability strength, we like the chance to resist knockdown. Prime Continuity is here, ironically, for energy efficiency, because that affects immolation, right? That keeps our drain down at that quarter of an energy per second. It also, though, is what's helping us get our Fireball Frenzy up to a minute. Aside from that, Molt Augmented for more damage, and Arcane Energize for more just general sauce. Helps keep our energy up. 4 shards. We are running 2 Equilibrium shards. We are running. This is much better if you're running Exothermic. The augment for Ember's 4. Hold on. So if you're running Exothermic, the augment for Ember's 4, that's much better because they have a chance to drop energy orbs. We are running Fireball Frenzy instead, however, which is unfortunate for us. But it's more canonical because you can use Fireball Frenzy to give Chrono Flame Cleave. I forget what the actual ability is called, but something like that. Casting speed because, yeah, ability duration because of aforementioned reasons for ability duration, and parkour velocity because it's... So, Felarx. This is typical Felarx stuff. I have a Riven for the Felarx, minus crit chance. That's a big deal for the Felarx because it works like the Latum, where not critting deals more damage than critting. Sort of, kind of. I don't want to get into the math with that with the math nerds. We're running Crux because Crux is really nice on the Felarx. We want to not reload if possible, because this is a reload 1 round at a time sort of gun. So, when we are having to reload, we have... Never mind, I thought that this gave reload speed, but it doesn't. So, to prevent us from reloading, my apology, to prevent us from reloading, we have Atomic Fallout and Shotgun Elementals to help. These also do other really great things, like add radiation damage, which, like, we're already doing radiation in our Incarnate form, so it's not a big deal. But we have the radiation here. We have Shell Shock for electric. This is boosting that electric damage. Prime Point Blank, because of course. And we're running Viral to help boost our damage even more. You could run Corrosive Heat. That wouldn't be bad. That's just not what I'm running. It's what I'm choosing not to run, I guess. For our other things, you can see here we have Frictionless Flight, Evolved Autoloader, which is so helpful. Racking Wrath. If you do want to go the crit route, you would want to go Brutal Edge, but again, I don't know why you would want to go the crit route. This gun is one of the few guns where you don't have to engage in Warframe's critical hit slop meta. I'm saying that ironically. And then, of course, Devastating Attrition. And then, Lex Prime. If you saw the Homura build, you already know the deal with this, but essentially, Lex Prime does Lex Prime stuff. Replace this Riven with Prime to charge. If you don't have a... I should explain that more. Sorry. I realized that, again, I just finished recording the Homura videos, so I'm kind of in that headspace. So, we have crit here. We're running Corrosive here. This is mostly here to provide heat and multi-shot, which is why you can replace it with Prime Heat Charge. And then these 3 are just generic, put them on every pistol. Steady Hands because you need that to use the Lex, and then Merciless just because that's my favorite of the Arcanes. Fragor Prime. Fragor Prime. Now this is an interesting weapon. We're running Melee Vortex. It's kind of stupid. The reason we're doing that is because it groups up enemies really nicely. You have Magnetic Rush to actually get that magnetic on it. Um, basically, it's the build is stupid, but sometimes Melee Vortex procs, and it groups up enemies, and then you can shoot them a whole bunch with your other guns. Let's go ahead and talk about Ember's fashion frame, since I don't think I did that. So you can see here we're using the Grax skin. We're using this orange from Hallows Eve. We're using this kind of tealish color from Classic Saturated. And then we're using this yellow from Fire. Using this purple from Hallows Eve. And then same old colors, bright red and ballistics orange. Cherry red, I guess. It's more appropriate. No Cyandana. No sigils. Yeah, okay. I realized I clicked on sigils twice. Attachments. Harkener Wraith chest armor. This was mostly just to fill the space. I feel like without this, there's a lot of empty space here that I wanted filled, and I felt like having like a little mini AC unit on your chest sounded like something that Lucca would make and stick on her chest because it's fun, you know? Otherwise, the EOS are here to kind of fill out like her silhouette a little, make her a bit boxier. And the Targus Prime are here because they look cool. We're using that color from Fire twice. We're using this yellow from Fire that we used previously. And then we're using this purple from Hallows Eve. Just kind of makes for this nice, coherent look to her, I think. And then, of course, again, the Grax. We have the Mesa Noble just because I think it's cool. And yeah, no prime details. This is what she looks like, prime details on. You can see it changes some of the, like body morph of Ember a little. Other than that, the most notable change is the her greaves, I guess you might call them. They turn into the primes, like decorative kind of version, but I kind of like the look of the chunkier ones a bit better. So wanted to keep them. We have talked about our worm. We've talked about our weapons. Yep, I believe we are good to go. We'll be doing our normal test as always. Not doing the simulacrum, just because I feel like a lot of the weapons here kind of speak for themselves. The thing that we really want to test is how Ember is doing. We're also using Zeneric here because Ember needs all the energy economy she can get. Again, this is the Healing Flames variant of this, not the Shield Gate. You should only be using the Shield Gate. Again, if you have a Trinity on you, or maybe a Whisper and on. But the point is that you need healing. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna jump back over here to these enemies, not wait for them to come over to us. Go ahead and get some Fireball Frenzy action going. He stole my gun. I don't appreciate that. You can see the Felarx is having an okay time killing. What the fuck is shooting? Was it that? No. My man tried to lasso me? Oh, it's the Dargans. Anyway. You can see we're doing pretty good. Since I'm on the move, I'm going to disable Immolation. And if you ever feel like you're about to die, go ahead and just pop a Healing Flame. Or a Fire Blast. There we go. Do that. Refreshes our shield some. Gets us some Overguard. In this case, the amount of Overguard doesn't matter as much as it does. Because it gives us a nice Overguard gate. It also throws enemies back, which is helpful. But yeah, we're just going to keep going. I'm going to hop into Operator to do this, because that's how you should be doing hacking, if you aren't just going to use ciphers.
You've reached the cannon. Shut it down before it fires the tectonic shot.
Is it just me, or did it sound like he just said, what the fuck? Like, listen, I'm trying to judge my Grenier friend. It just was shocking a little, I guess. Do. Come on. Nope. Come on. Nope. Come on. There we go.
You did it. The Navarre
Much like the
cannons
Homura
have
build, I'm not
dominated
going to really be
not
using the
under
Fragor here because the Fragor is mostly intended for
The command
decoration,
center
for
controls
lack of
the
a better word.
Navarre cannon's telemetry systems. Use it to take out that galleon. This is the command center.
I kind of want to kill that Eximus to get his orbs. You can see here the unfortunate side effects of having to reload our gun.
Insert that telemetry key into the console. That's the first key.
But also how we switched to our Lex Prime there, and because of that incarnate evolution, we just reloaded right
You found the
quick.
key. Take it to the console. You found a key. Take it to the console.
Phenomenon. You'll also notice that contrary to several other Warframes that I've taken through here, I haven't died yet. That's because for a long time, Ember was my main. Even before all of the changes that gave her the ability to use Overguard and all that stuff, Ember was like
That's it.
my gal,
Triangulation.
and so I'm a lot more comfortable using her.
Telemetry.
I will say that normally I run exothermic, and so this is a little bit of a... Like, I'm having to look over at my energy meter a lot more than I'm used to. Go ahead and do this. But yeah. We're also, of course, armor stripping enemies. I didn't mention that because that's kind of a given with Ember. You hit enemies enough with your fire guys and you armor strip them. Let me know, by the way. I have a lot more Chrono Trigger guys to do, by the way. I plan on doing, and build for every,
The cannon's telemetry.
main playable character.
Return to the
But let me know if you want me to explore, like, the villains. Same with the My Little Pony builds. If, I have some ideas for, like, what a T-Rex or a, Chrysalis could look like. And so if that sounds, like, interesting or entertaining, like, let me know in the comments and I'll, revisit
The galleon has been obliterated.
those particular series. And if there are any other guys that you kind of are interested in, my only caveat when it comes to me building things is that generally it has to be something that I am, like, good at, right? I not good at. Something that I've played is what I mean.
The targeting mechanism is out of commission.
But yeah, you can see here,
Cannon is useless now.
we can kind of exploit
Will
that
be long and hard while trying to use this weapon.
evolution to just kind of keep reloading the Felarx. But yeah, let me know. Obviously, you all don't know if I've played something or not, but if there's, like, secondarily, I intend on doing Let's Plays, and hopefully by this point have posted 1 or 2 of them. And so if there's, like, a game that you're like, hey, you should do this character. If you haven't done it, then you should really play the game. Feel free to shout that out. Feels kind of awkward to say that, but I suppose that's the YouTuber thing to do, isn't it? And yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for me, folks. You can go ahead and I'll go ahead and flash all the builds on screen, like I've been doing recently as of the video. But yeah, it's a fun build. It's Ember. Again, brief respite, immolated radiance if you're playing with a healer. It's a fun build. Ember is a fun frame. Don't, pick her up if you haven't had the chance yet. Hope everybody, that you have a good day and tune in next time.